Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be creating a Power Automate flow that will help us confirm or decline parking requests. So basically, the whole idea is that a customer will request a parking request, and basically we would be able to go to our Dataverse table in parking requests, see how many parking spaces are available, and whether the booking is made before 5 p.m. because that's the cutoff. You can't book after 5 p.m. And once those conditions are met, we want to be able to confirm. And if any of those conditions are not met, let's say that there is not enough space, every available spot, which is 15 of them, is already booked, then we will say we will decline that request. And if a person books a parking request after 5 p.m., that is also going to be declined because it doesn't meet the standard. Like you have to be able to book before 5 p.m. as 5 p.m. is the cutoff. So what we're going to do is we will go to our solution here, and then we'll go to automation. We'll go to cloud flow, and then we'll click on automated. What we're going to do is we will just call it parking request notification, and our trigger, it will be a Dataverse trigger, as this is an automated flow, which is an event based. So what we want to trigger is when a row is added, modified, or deleted in Dataverse. So we say create. I will just need to authenticate. I'll be back in a second. Yeah, perfect. So I've just authenticated. Okay, so what we want to do is, what is the change type that we want? We want it to be when a request is added or when a row is added in our table. The table name, that's going to be parking request. That's the table that we are using. And the scope, we just leave it as organization. And a good practice is to always rename your steps. So we will say when a row is added in parking request table, give it a good naming, and then we need to have another step. And this is going to be a Dataverse one, a Dataverse connector we're going to use, and it's going to be the get row by ID. As you can see, I get a row by ID. So we basically want to go to the vehicle table and we want to get the vehicle name. So every time that there's a request added, we want to be able to know which vehicle is requesting, for parking. So you want to go to the vehicle table, vehicles here, and then row ID. You want to go to what you want to use is a dynamic value here, and then you want to go to the vehicle value. That's what you want to get. Once you do that, you can save it so that you don't lose it. Yeah, so save, and what we're going to do is just going to rename this. You're going to say get a row by ID from vehicle table. Now, you guys do realize that when we are confirming or declining the parking request, we have to send an email confirmation. We have to send an email. And because we want to do that dynamically, we don't want to be writing every vehicle's name and so on and so on. We want to use a variable. So we want to initialize a variable for the vehicle, for the request name, for the vehicle name, but we also want to get the date as well. We want the correct format for the date as well. So we will also initialize a variable for that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to initialize a variable for the request name. So I'm going to say next step. Just go initialize, click on the variable, initialize variable. You have to name your variables. So I will call mine varRequestName, and I will make this one a string. String, and then you want to go here and get a dynamic value of the parking request name. be somewhere here. If you can't find it, just type for it. Parking request name. That's it. And then now you want to do another one. And what you want to do here is you want to initialize the vehicle name. So you just say initialize variable. And what we're going to do is var request name. That's what I'm going to call it. And I'll also rename this one as well. I'll just copy this. I'll keep it as a string. So I keep that as a string, and then you want to go here and get the request name. Oh, my bad. I'm initializing the same thing. So no, you don't want to be doing that. You want to be getting the vehicle name instead, not the. Forgive me for that. This has to be. My spelling is terrible. The vehicle name here, and I'll just copy this one. Control V here. And then when you go here, you want to get the vehicle name. Just type here vehicle name. That's what you want to initialize. Just want to save that. And the third thing that you want to initialize is the parking request date. So what we're going to do here is we will go here, we will initialize the initialize variable. The name would be var request date. So I'm going to call it. You can call it whatever you want. Just make sure that the naming convention makes sense as well. We keep it as a string. And in here is where we are going to use an expression, a Power Automate expression. So we'll say formatDateTime, and then you want to put this parentheses. And what you want to do is the varRequestDateTime. See parkingRequestDateTime? That's what you want to click in. And basically it will give you the output of when it was booked. And then if you go all the way here, you're not done yet. You want to format the time. So I'll just put a comma here, and then I'll show you here. If I go here, basically when you want to format your time in Power Automate, as you can see here, the formatDateTime function, you use this one. So this is for the year, the month, the day, the hour, the minute, and the seconds. So this is what you want to use. I would copy paste this one. I'll copy this one, bring it here, and then I'll just paste it here. I'm going to use single quotes. And that's okay, done. So I have also initialized my variable for the request date. Now what I want to do is, because we only have a limit of 15 parking spots, we want to know how many parking requests have been made for the day, for that given day. So what we want to do now is we're going to create a new step where we say list the rows. We'll go to, it's a Microsoft Dataverse connector, and it says list rows here. So we want to list rows from the parking request table, because it's always for us to be able to confirm the parking request, it has to be less than 15, because we only have 15 parking days. So we want to be able to count how many requests have been made for that given day, and we want to filter that. So I'll show you the formula that I'm going to use. But basically what you want to first do is you want to go to your table, you want to go to your parking request. You want to go to your columns. And I remember that we made here the parking request date time. This is a column that we're going to be working with because this will allow us to get that time that we want. And here, the logical name, you want to copy that. So copy this one. And then you just go here. And basically what we want to say is the date time here is going to be greater, and then here we will use expression. I'll show you the formula that I'm going to use. And you also need to convert the time as well. Don't forget that you need to convert time. So basically this is the time because you have 24 hours, so it has to start from 0 until the 23rd hour, 59th minute, 59 seconds. So it is within that day, right? So we start from 0. So we're saying that this has to be greater than that. So the G stands for greater. The AUS Eastern Standard Time, this is where I live. I live in Eastern Australia, so that's the time that I am converting to from utcNow, right? So because Power Platform uses the utcNow time, you want to convert it from that to the where you live. So this Australian Eastern Standard Time will change for you guys depending on which region of the world that you live in. Once that's done, you just say done. And then I want to combine it here. I will say end. I'll go back here. I will just copy this one again. This is my column for the parking request date time that I want to format. And I'll put it here. And this time I will put LE. This is for less than. This is for less than, right? And what I'm going to put this, so you want to go to your expression here, and then you just want to paste this one. It's the same thing. We're basically converting the UTC time to Eastern Australian Standard Time because that's where I live. And then the formatting is you basically want it to be 23, 59, 59. So that basically that's what I'm saying is that it has to be less than 24. That 24-hour period. So more than 0, less than 24. So it is within that one day, because what you want to, when you are counting the list of rows in parking request table, you only want to count for that day. It's just for that given day. So you want to say, okay, on this one, that's done. And what we're going to do now is we're just going to rename our table, right? I'm just going to go here so it makes sense. I'll rename it get list rows, and I'll just say list requests made for the day or for a given day. So this is just a daily thing, just for that day within that 24-hour period. And sometimes this is what I'm going to do next is I will do a compose step. This is just for debugging purposes. Sometimes it might not be counting correctly, and you might think like, okay, where in my formula am I wrong? Is it not counting the list correctly, or is there something else? So what you want to do is you want to come here and say compose. I will just say compose here. You don't really need this for the flow. The only value it adds is for debugging purposes. So you want to say length. Actually, not here. You want to go to your formula expression. You want to say length, and in here you want to insert a dynamic value. So you want to click on this value here, list of items, and then done. So basically this one, when the flow runs, it will just show you that it's counting correctly, and I'll show you how that looks like. Once this is done, now what you want to do is you want to put the condition, right? Because there's few conditions that we have to follow. You can choose control here, and then you say condition. And here's the condition that you want. So first you want to know the maximum capacity, right? So I will name this one here. I'll just go here and name it. And I'll say maximum capacity check equal or less than 15, because we only have 15 parking spots. And in here, what we want to do is we can use the same formula as the one that I just did before. So you just want to say length, and you want to use dynamic value to get the list of items in that table, right? And then in here, you want to say is less than or equal to 15. So if it's more than 15, then it will say false and it will go on the no side. And if it's less than 15, it will go in the true side, and then it will say yes. So what actions do you want to add based on that, right? So, and the action that we want to add is if this more than 15, we want to say no, we are unable to accommodate for your booking today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here, add action, send email. You want to use the send email Outlook version 2. Now I don't have an Outlook email, but if you do have an Outlook email, just make sure that you put your correct email here for the sake of this flow. So I'm just going to use my Microsoft email here. This is not an Outlook email, so I wouldn't actually be able to show you from my email, but I'll be able to show you here within the flow. The subject, what you wanted to say is parking request update. And now what you want now is to use the variables that we initialized before. You want to use it as a dynamic content, right? So what you want is the request name now. So you just click on the request name, and there you have it. And then now you go to the body, and in the body you can just say, I'll just copy paste this. Yeah, so basically what we're saying is this is a subject where you put the request name, and you're saying thank you for submitting a parking request for dynamic value for the vehicle name that we put in a variable before. Unfortunately, all parking bays are currently booked and we are unable to accommodate for your request today. Please try again tomorrow. Just a simple one. And then if it is less than 15, then you want to go to the other side and then add an action, right? In here, what you want to do is before you do that, you want to do another control, either true or false, and that's a condition, right? So if this 50 is less than 15, what you want to do is you want to use another another condition, right? You want to say, was this booking made before 5 p.m., right? So I'll show you a formula that you can use for this one. So as you can see, this is you just want to format datetime, you want to convert the the time zone. You want to get that time from your varRequestDate. I'm converting mine to the Eastern Australian Standard Time, and I'm converting it into an integer, right? Because I want to be able to say is less than, so this is what I want to do, less than 5 o'clock. It's like before 5 p.m. So I'll say less than 17, right? 17 being 5 p.m. And so that's what I want to do. So now what do you do if if that is false? So if people have booked after 5 p.m., if this false, then you add an action here, send email. All right, now here you go, guys. So basically what I have done is if it is less than 15 rows, and that is true, and if it is less than 17, which is before 5 p.m., If it is before 5 p.m., you say yes, your booking has been confirmed, and use dynamic values here from the variables that we have already initialized. And if it is after 5 p.m., you use the same thing, but you say no, booking cannot be made after 5 p.m. So what we're going to do is we're going to save this one, and we are going to run a test and see how it works. Yeah, so that has been saved now, and then we just click on test. This is the first time that we are testing it, so we'll say manually. Then we just go test. All right, perfect. Now on my model-driven app, so I'll go to parking requests. I will make a new request. So if we look here, active parking requests for today, we have none as we haven't made any requests. So I'll click on new, and vehicle, let's just say that we go for 144 triple P. Date and time, today is the 18th. And I will say I've made the booking at 12:30 p.m. Perfect, and I'll just save and close it. And if you look at the active requests for today, the list is like we have one. And if I go back here, now the flow is running. And let's see how it goes. Yeah, so the flow has run successfully, and it will show you all this stuff here. So, and if you click here, here's the output, change type 1, the parking request, the scope and stuff. This is just the organization. It puts it in numbers. You got a list, and then what I wanted to show you was in the compose is what I wanted to show you. So the output and input was 1, so it basically went in there and counted the rows, and it showed as 1. And I'll show you when we do one more time, it will show us 2. So it's done that, and basically the maximum capacity, if you look in this one here, is it less than 15? Yes, that is true. And then we go here, and basically, is it before 5 p.m. or after 5 p.m.? It is before 5 p.m. And then here's the send email here that has gone. And it basically says parking request for PR 100. And then if we look at it, this is a number. That's the request ID. Your parking request for 144 triple P, that's our vehicle name, has been successfully confirmed. So basically that's it. And what I want to do now is I'll just go back here. What I'm going to do is I will do another one. I'll just create new. I'll actually do 2, so I'll show you what it looks like. 2. So for this one, we'll do at 8, 1 p.m. We'll save and close that. And then I will do another one here. But for this one, what I'm going to do is I'll do the same date, but I am going to do at 5:30 p.m. So because it's 5:30, it should decline. I'll say save and close. And then I'll go here. What I can even do is I can go to Power Automate from here. I'll just need to be on the right environment. And then you want to go to your flows. And then you want to look at your run history, right? So we have run it 3 times. This is our run history. So this is the second one that we did run. And if I click on this one, let's see what happened. Let me just get rid of this. So everything is a success. If I go to compose, it shows the input and output too, because this is the second time that we made a request. So when it counted, it was only 2. And then it will come here. And that will show true. And it is less than 15, of course. And what's the time? it's before 5 p.m. and in here it sends the email saying that this has been accepted. So if I go back here, so guys, that's what we've done, but we had run three flows. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the last one that we run, which was the booking for 5:30 p.m. We should get a false for that one, and you shouldn't be able to book it. I will remove the new view. So we just go all the way here. If we go to compose, it should show us 3 because it counts it to 3. So our counting is correct. And then, so it counts 3 because if I go to parking request here, we have 3 requests. So that's why it's counting. And I just go back here. Is it less than 15? The result is true. So it will come here. And then the condition it looks, is it less than, is a booking made before 5 p.m.? No, because we booked it at 5:30 and it shows here as false. And then if we go here, basically it will say parking request not accepted, submitted after 5 p.m. And here we have the PM PR 100003. Let's just make sure that number is correct. That's the one, the PR 100003. And it says, thank you for submitting the request for that BCD44G vehicle. And if we go back and then we just click on that one, that is the correct vehicle. Unfortunately, we are unable to process the request as it was submitted after 5 p.m. So basically, that's how you do the parking request Power Automate flow. And in the next video, we'll start doing our Canvas app. I will see you then. Bye.